We have been looking since really the time after Christmas. We've been looking at stories of Jesus' life and early ministry because we believe that stories have this profound way of impacting people in their lives. And stories that we tell shape the lives that we live. And we want to be shaped, especially in our world. We want to be shaped by stories of healing and wholeness. So we've been looking at these stories of Jesus so that we can be shaped by these stories of Jesus. And they've been teaching us during Lent of all kinds of things to let go of, to stop carrying around, that make our journey in life too heavy. We've been looking at things to just let go of, to walk lighter and walk easier. Which brings us to Palm Sunday, also Passion Sunday. It used to just be Palm Sunday, so the entire focus of the service was about the march, Palm Sunday, but then, religious leaders, they began thinking, church people just don't come out very much anymore. They don't really come out to Monday, Thursday, and Good Friday service. We can't really trust people. And so we'll smash Palm Sunday and Passion Sunday. We'll tell the entire Passion narrative of Jesus going to the cross on the one Sunday because we can't trust people to come on Thursday and Friday. To which you all are sitting in your seats going, challenge accepted. Because I know I'm going to see you all on Thursday and Friday, right? It's not manipulative at all. And so, today, I want us to focus a bit on the Passion narrative. But I want to focus on the true passion. I want to focus on the passion behind the Passion narrative. Because of a poem that was written hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, somewhere along the line, Christians picked up this idea that Jesus had this passion, maybe even as a baby. He was born and had this passion like, one day when I grow up, I'm going to be brutally tortured and killed. That's going to be awesome. And this idea got spread for so many years, and it culminated in a movie. Perhaps you heard of Mel Gibson's The Passion of the Christ. How many of you saw that particular movie? Yeah, okay. I've been debating telling this story. I'm just going to risk it and tell it to you, and hopefully you don't hold it against me. When I was 19 years old, a pastor's kid, I kind of had a rebellious streak in me. I know it's probably hard for you to imagine, but just go ahead and try.
Totally not at all.
Right. So I took a girl on a first date. to see this movie. And I walked up to the front, to the ticket counter, and again, rebellious pastor's kid, I said, I'd like 2 tickets to see that comedy, The Passion of the Christ. And the ticket lady responded to me in this very theologically conservative city. This is not a comedy. This is a story of how our Lord Jesus came to be tortured and die for you. Somewhere between taking the girl to that movie and that scene and the movie and then the Denny's afterwards, I could get a second date. But that phrase has stuck with me. This is a story of how Jesus came to be tortured and killed for you. This is his passion. Really? Jesus came as a baby boy. Jesus came as a young man. Jesus came as a 30-year-old to be some kind of sadomasochistic death. That's the best that God could come up with. That's Jesus' passion. Really? Really? Is that really as good as Jesus' passion can be? Is that the passion of the creator of the universe? In John chapter 10, verse 10, Jesus actually tells us part of Jesus' passion. Jesus says, I came so that you may have life, the abundant, eternal life. Jesus' passion isn't death, it's life. And there are all kinds of things that lead us in life to death, that take us away from experiencing the abundant life that Jesus wants for us. And we've explored some of those things that we carry with us as baggage through Lent. And it's time to discuss one more that I think weighs heaviest on so many of us. And I think it's the passion behind the passion. One of the New Testament writers in Ephesians chapter 2 says of us, you were dead through the trespasses and sins in which you once lived, and we were by nature children of wrath, like everyone else. This New Testament author says that all of us, at some point in our life, have been children of wrath. Because here's how it goes. Every single one of us, at some point in our life, has been handed some kind of wound and grievance and suffering. At some point in our life, every single one of us has been handed a plate of overwhelming pain and hurt. There's actually plates in your seats, in your pews. If you have someone sitting near you because you're closest to the aisle, if you could pass those plates. You're not handing someone a plate of pain, I promise you. You're not offering the grief for the wound. At some point in our life, every single one of us has been handed a plate of pain. Someone has done something to us to wound us. And if you don't have enough plates, there are some more plates in the back. And I'm sure that the ushers would be willing to help out anyone who raises their hands who needs an extra plate. Do we all have a plate? Yeah. At some point in our lives, every single one of us has been handed some kind of wound. Someone has said that one thing that hurt your feelings. Someone has done the one thing that betrayed you. Someone has gravely wounded and hurt you, and they've handed you a plate of pain. And so oftentimes, our immediate response is to take that plate of pain and to just shove it right back to them. You hurt me, and so I'm going to hurt you. And let's be honest, it's never the same plate of pain because we add a side of mashed potatoes. Sometimes we talk about an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. We're like, oh, it's so barbaric, it's so primitive, it's so backwards. But have we even lived up to that law? Because it really works. You took one of my eyes, so I'm going to take two of yours. You took two of my teeth, I'm going to take two of yours. It's never just an eye for an eye. That would actually be radically progressive for us, if we're honest. You hurt me, so I'm going to hurt you. You wounded me, so I'm going to add to the wound. It's actually like, how many of us remember the game Pong, like the first video game? Right? Pong, pong, right? Those are great graphics. When we've been handed a wound, when someone has hurt us, it's so easy to slip into playing Pong with our wounds. We just pass it back and forth, and we leave waves of destruction around us. Or if we're honest, if we're not the type of people that just immediately lash out back in anger, how many of us, someone hands us a plate of pain, we respond with, I'm just going to take it in. I'm going to be more righteous. I'm going to be stoic. I'm going to take the higher path, and I'm just going to repress it deep within me. And I'm just going to take it in, and take it in, and take it in. Responding to anger would be terrible. I'm not going to do that, so I'm just going to push it deep, deep, deep The problem with this is you can only repress and push in for so long before eventually you do one or two things. You're either constantly leaking out really sarcastic and passive-aggressive comments, not that anyone in the Lutheran world would ever do that, which is a pretty passive-aggressive statement. I was realizing, like, wow, that's pretty passive-aggressive when you do. Or you take it in, and then you what? You explode. You blow up. You look kind of like that guy. We can only take it in for so long before we leak out really hurtful, passive-aggressive comments, leaving paths of destruction, or we eventually explode, and we leave all kinds of destruction all around us. All of us have been handed some kind of pain. Jesus certainly was. Jesus was betrayed by some of his friends. Jesus was abandoned by his closest friends. Betrayed by one of his closest friends. Mocked, tortured, abandoned, betrayed, hurt, handed a wound of all wounds. And he reveals something incredible, because on the cross he says, Father, forgive them. Father, forgive them. All of us have been handed a plate of pain, and so often our response is to take it in or to hand it back. But Timothy Keller, Presbyterian pastor Timothy Keller writes, there's another option. However, you can forgive. Forgiveness means refusing to make them pay for what they did. It is a form of suffering. However, it is a form of suffering. You not only suffer the original loss of happiness, reputation, opportunity, but now you forgo the consolation of inflicting the same on them. He continues, you are absorbing the debt, taking the cost of it completely on yourself, and instead of taking it out on the other person, it hurts terribly. Many people would say it feels like a kind of death. We don't have to play Pong, and we don't have to repress it. We can forgive. But the thing is, it feels like death. It feels like a death. And so we often avoid the forgiveness death. We avoid it for a lifelong series of deaths. Because the Pong game is a death. And the repressing is a death. It's just slowly for time. And let's all be honest, anger is way more fun. At least it feels that way at the beginning, right? I mean, to channel your inner Jack Black. Right? At the beginning, anger feels like a lot more fun. I remember a couple years ago, it's like 10 years ago, I was thinking of entering into the ministry. And I was like telling some people about this like new dream and passion of mine. And I was like, I want to enter the ministry. And they're like, how can you enter the ministry? Like, you have all these strange beliefs about everyone not going to hell. Like, how can you don't have Christian beliefs. And I was so hurt, first of all, by their weird interpretation, but I was also just so hurt that I just shared part of my dream with them, and they cut me down immediately. And I remember thinking, try and do the Christian thing and just take it in so that you don't act like a jerk. And when I got in the car, when I got in my truck, I started driving on the freeway, I began to stew in anger. I was like, how dare they attack me and my beliefs? Like, I have a God-given dream. Who are they? And then I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll go home and I'll get on my laptop and I'll get on Facebook. Yeah, that's gonna do it. And I'm gonna write a status update. And I'm not going to mention them by name because that would not be very Christian. But they're for sure going to know I'm talking about them. That'll teach them. First of all, question. Have you ever uttered the phrase, that'll teach them? Done something mean, and the person that you did something mean to because they did something mean to you, have they ever responded with, thank you so much for being a jerk to me. I now know you have taught me a lesson. I shouldn't be a jerk to you. Has that ever worked for you? They're like, thank you so much for teaching me that lesson. And as I was driving, I was getting more and more excited, more and more angry, and I had like all these pithy comments. It's going to be amazing. I was like stewing in anger. And I got home, turned on my laptop, started typing, but there was this Frederick Buechner quote book, a Presbyterian pastor, another Presbyterian pastor, full of his quotes. And staring at me in my anger was this quote, of all the 7 deadly sins, anger is possibly the most fun. To lick your wounds, smack your lips over grievances long past, to roll over your tongue the prospect of bitter confrontation still to come, to savor to the last toothsome morsel both the pain you were given and the pain you were giving back. In many ways, it is a feast fit for a king. The chief drawback, the quote continues, is that what you are wolfing down is yourself. The skeleton at the feast is you. I closed my laptop feeling a bit convicted. Timothy Keller continues, yes, forgiveness is a death that is painful, but it is a death that leads to resurrection, to life, instead of the lifelong living death of bitterness and cynicism. And so Jesus is calling us today. Jesus is beckoning all of us. Christ is beckoning us to the cross to take our wounds and our plates of pain and our hurts, our grievances. Christ is calling us to follow him. Because as the same New Testament author puts it in Ephesians chapter 2, because of God's great love for us, God, who is rich in mercy, made us alive with Christ, even when we were dead in transgressions. It is by grace that we have been saved, and God raised us up with Christ. We take our pain to the cross. We die. But God gives us new life after forgiveness. Christ's passion, in other words, is so much more than just painfully suffering. It's wholeness. It's being free from everything that rips us up inside. It's putting ourselves back together. It's freedom from all that holds us down. And it's forgiveness. It's the life, it's the resurrection life after forgiveness. There's a couple things I want to clear up about forgiveness, so let's get clear. Forgiveness is not condoning unkindness. Forgiveness is not forgetting. Sometimes it's not okay to forget the ways in which someone has wounded you because you can't put yourself back in that situation. That's not wholeness and healing. Forgiveness is not excusing poor behavior. It's not letting people take advantage of you. Forgiveness is not denying or minimizing your hurt, your feelings. It's not repressing. Forgiveness does not always mean reconciling with your offender. Sometimes there are people that hurt us that we can't be back in relationship with. That's not wholeness. That's not freedom. Forgiveness is not, and it does not mean you have to give up having feelings. But rather, forgiveness is about your healing. It's not about the people who hurt you, it's about you. Forgiveness is taking back your power. Forgiveness is a choice. Forgiveness helps us get control over our feelings. Forgiveness improves our mental and physical health. Forgiveness is becoming a hero rather than maintaining a a sense of victimization. You and everyone can forgive. Forgiveness doesn't mean maintaining your victimhood. It doesn't mean you have to keep letting people treat you like garbage. Forgiveness is taking your hurt and your pain and owning it and writing it down so that it doesn't own and name you. So right now, I want to invite you to take your plate. There's writing utensils throughout. And if it helps you, I want you right now to name a grievance, to name a wound, to maybe, if it's safe in this space, to name a person. Name your plate of pain. We're going to name it. We're going to write it, list it, own it. And I'm going to invite Wolf to come back up and begin just playing just the opening chords to Amazing Grace. And as he's playing, I encourage you to name it, to write it, to own it. And when you feel like you've done that, begin the process of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not a day thing. It happens long, long, long over time. That story about the person who wounded me, that story becomes funnier to me every time because I'm realizing I forgive them more every day. And that's how it works. So name it, write it, and when you're ready, as we play music, bring it to the cross. Take your plate and just get rid of it. Because you deserve to be free from it. Forgiveness is letting someone off the hook. It is setting someone free. Forgiveness is finding out that it is about letting someone off the hook. It is setting someone free. You. So write it, name it, and bring it to the cross.